Welcome to yet another edition of the I Prefer the 80s and 90s Sports podcast editorial where I talk about the world of sports. Today's topic is a redundant topic and I'm tired of talking about it, but I do it because for some reason I haven't joined any sites. I keep getting emails, texts, Facebooks about the GOAT conversation in basketball, about LeBron, about Michael, and it is above my head in frustration in terms of not of knowledge, but in terms of just fed up talking about it. And personally, I wish you would stop. Because it's now starting to get more than ridiculous. I saw something the other day online that supposedly LeBron said something that I don't believe he said, but he said that why is it that Wayne Gretzky is considered the greatest hockey player of all time, and he's not considered the greatest basketball player of all time, even though he too is a all-time leading scorer and in the top 4 in assists in his game. And I wrote back, firstly, I don't recall feeling that LeBron is dominating the NBA. Wayne Gretzky came into hockey and dominated hockey. Period. And people could say, well, he had Messier and he had Grant Fuhrer as the goalie and Jari Curry, and he had all these great other players with him. But Gretzky did things in hockey that no one else has ever done. Gretzky had 4 seasons where he scored 200 points or more. And he would have had a 5th season, but he finished with, wait for it, 198 points. That's crazy. There's nobody even close. And they're trying to say this new kid, Connor McDavid, is Gretzky. He's better than Gretzky, or he's Gretzky-like. He's not. Because he is not dominating the sport, number one. And let's say you think he is. Gretzky did it as a 19, a 20, a 21, a 22, 23, 20. This kid, McDavid, is like in his mid-20s. Gretzky did it as a baby. Now, LeBron came in the NBA. He had a good first year. He got his team to the finals early in his career. But the bottom line is, he never dominated the league. And we're all getting tired of this conversation. And the conversation is becoming personal in some ways because, like, supposedly the other day, I'm minding my own business. I wake up, I put on Twitter, and it says, message from LeBron James. And it was a picture of LeBron James, a video of LeBron James doing the face of little Kevin from the Home Alone movies. And basically saying, because the caption said, he is the oldest player in the NBA now. And he went up and he dunked. And he wanted to show me that he could dunk still. And I laughed. And I wrote back saying, I never said you sucked. I just said you're not better than Mike. I just said you're not better than Kobe, Larry, Magic, Kareem, Dr. J. You can play. You're just not better than them. And I wish y'all stop trying to tell me that he is. There was one Facebook sent to me saying that he had harder teams to beat than Michael. What? Yesterday there was one that was sent that listed who he played with, and at the time how he won. And then there's a list for Michael. And they say Michael didn't do anything without Scottie. But LeBron did it with different players. And I'm like, how is that an argument to support LeBron? LeBron needed the top players in the league. Nobody knew who Scottie Pippen was. Nobody knew how good Scottie Pippen would become or is. He was a draft quote unquote steal. No one knew who he was. But we knew who Kyrie was because he was the number one pick in the draft. We knew who Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade are because they were, number 3 and number 5 pick in the draft? Kevin Love was a first round pick. We know Anthony Davis was a first round pick. He was the number 1 pick overall. And what blows my mind is they're trying to say something about Jordan and his career. Here's what I find funny. LeBron won his last championship with Anthony Davis was the main reason that they won, but they give the credit to LeBron. But it was Anthony Davis was the guy. Anthony Davis, who was a top 5 player in the league. Scottie Pippen was never a top 5 player in the league. And LeBron was 35. Mike was 35 when he won a championship too. Then he won the following year at 36. See, this is what's funny to me. And I'll try to get off this topic because church starts in 5 minutes, so I got to finish this quick. This is what's funny to me. Michael Jordan retired 3 times. The first time he retired, he blatantly came out and said, basketball not challenging to me anymore. And so I want to try something that challenges me. And when you're not challenged, you want to play stuff that's challenged. So I went to play baseball. Then he came back. Then he played and won 3 more championships. Then he retired again. Then he got into the front office and was trying to build a team, own a team, so on and so forth. Came back 3 years after that to the Washington Wizards team that was not very good, and everyone was expecting a miracle, but he was not the same guy. Every facet of LeBron's career, he had no breaks. He played 20 straight years, about to be 21st year. He played with a bad team his first time around. Then he played with the Heat, who has 3 of 3 Hall of Famers. Then he played with Cleveland, that has 2 perennial All-Stars. Then he went to the Lakers, and the Lakers stunk. And then he's like, look, Lakers got to bring me somebody here. I can't win without it. And they did. They brought him Anthony Davis. And every year since, they keep bringing him different players who were good players. Russell, who left the Lakers and now is back with the Lakers, he was a number 2 pick in the draft. Russell Westbrook was a teammate of his. He was in the top few in the draft. So these stupid, people say just let it go. You know why it's hard not to let go? It's hard not to let go because when you get constantly inundated with the same topic, you have to respond to it. And every day I get some kind of something about LeBron, comparing him to Michael. And it doesn't make sense. And so I responded to that Facebook, and I said, here's something that you can never say about LeBron. LeBron was never a defensive player of the year and scoring champ in the same year. That should end every conversation. And for some reason, People don't care about that. People just go, defense is overrated. Really? Seriously. People could care less about that statistical fact that for all the offensive accolades that LeBron keeps throwing out, you can't be the greatest player of a sport if you're not the best player offensively and not the best player defensively. I'm not saying Michael was the best defensive player of all time, but being one of 4 players who was voted all defense team, first team, 9 years, and I believe 9 years in a row, win the scoring title 6 of those 9 years, win league MVP 6 of those 9 years, win NBA championships in those 9 years as well, 6 of those, 5 of those. What is your argument? That a guy who retired 3 times, still ranked when he retired 4th in the league history in scoring. So imagine if he didn't retire 3 times. If he played straight through 15 years, how many more points would he have scored? And I know people hate the speculation game, but it's applicable in this because if you ask anybody who played the game, anyone who watches the game, and the first question that is always asked is if Michael played today, how many points a game would he average? And without hesitation, people say over 40. Without hesitation. So stop sending me emails, Facebooks, anything to compare LeBron to anybody, especially Mike, especially Kobe too. But they stopped doing that with Kobe because people truly believe that he was better than Kobe. And it makes me shake my head too. But what can you do? They don't play against each other. They never have and they never will. You just sort of got to just grin and bear it. And I'm trying my hardest to grin and bear it. But the bottom line is, like I said in the post to LeBron, you're a good player, but you ain't Mike.